Hi, I'm Lenora. I'm a full-time realtor covering Central Virginia. I'm also a black belt teaching a karate class at a women's college called Sweetbriar. It's great to meet you. But enough about me. You're here because you want to buy a house. Not to worry, I'll coach you through it. Today, what to expect when you're inspecting. Almost all houses in an extreme seller's market are as is. You can still get the inspection for buyer's information, but in a multiple bid situation, some buyers are foregoing even that. Personally, I prefer to know what I'm in for, and I advise that whenever possible. You just have to balance your need to be knowledgeable and competitive. If you're getting one, you'll need it within a week or two of getting ratified. The deadline will be outlined in your contract. The inspection cost is calculated by square foot, so it varies. In my area, we budget $500 for it. Understand that you may end up paying for more than one before you're done, since the first house may not work out. Think of it as an investment in not making an expensive mistake. On inspection day, you can watch the inspector work if you're into that sort of thing, but they're usually more productive if you let your realtor handle the babysitting and save your questions until after. You can, if you want, arrive for the last half hour of the appointment. Then the inspector can walk you efficiently through what they found, so when you get the written report, you understand better what they're talking about. Don't panic when you see it. If it's thick, it's thorough, and that's a good thing. It should be sorted or labeled or somehow color-coded by what's a safety issue and what needs to be addressed immediately versus what's a long-term maintenance issue that aren't falling apart. You just need to keep an eye and start planning for them in the coming years as you take over the maintenance of the home. If the purchase is not as is, you can ask for seller repairs. Here in Virginia, we can only ask for anything structural, mechanical, electrical, or plumbing that's not currently working the way it's supposed to. Technically, you can't ask for anything cosmetic or anything that's aging but still working. So if a 30-year roof is on its 31st year but not actively leaking, that's a no. Now, your realtor may advise including the whole list, the roof, and the kitchen sink, so you have room to negotiate. But don't be insulted if it comes back without that particular roof, and that's why. You'll have a strict deadline to get the repairs request in. That's outlined by state law and your contract. They'll have a deadline to respond, and you'll have a deadline to respond to their response. Failure to meet any of these deadlines is an automatic yes, we accept, and we'll proceed, forfeiting your inspection out. Your realtor should keep you on schedule. Here in Virginia, it's 7 to 14 days, depending on the contract, to get the inspection done and the initial list in. Then it's 48 hours to respond to each counter list. So understand you'll need to respond efficiently. You can't sleep on it for more than one night, and while advisors are good, you'll want to avoid too many cooks in that kitchen. Also, when your realtor gets new documents to you for signatures, don't let them get buried or forgotten in your inbox. Once you find a meeting of the minds, you'll give the okay to proceed with the transaction. The seller should forward any repair receipts so you know it was done and by a professional. Final walkthrough the day of or the day before closing will be your one chance to check that the work was completed. So bring the final list with you. If anything was missed, your only real option is to refuse to sign until they either fix it, which could take days, or more likely offer credit so you can have the repairs done yourself without having to delay closing anymore at the last minute. Here's a tip. For a smoother transaction, your realtor may forward the inspection to your lender to see if they find anything that might be a red flag for the appraiser. If you can get it addressed before the appraiser sees it, it might simplify things down the road and prevent the closing from having to be postponed or even falling apart over an appraisal issue. As always, feel free to reach out with any questions, message or email me. If you're searching for a realtor, know that my company has over 100 agents and is #1 in the nation for realtor training. So feel free to reach out. I'd be happy to connect you with an expert in your area.